Can you imagine living in a world without approaching any motion? Would it be possible to live normally like what we have now, without motion? No. Every moment in the universe is governed by the laws of motion devised by Isaac Newton. Sir Isaac Newton was one of the greatest scientists, very known from his law of gravity and laws of motion. In the first place, what is motion? Well, motion is the movement of an object exhibited by changing position with respect to reference point. How would we understand motion happening around us? Here are the three basic laws of motion. First law of motion states that an object at rest will stay at rest, and an object in motion will stay in motion at constant velocity unless acted upon by an unbalanced force. An object will stay at its place forever unless acted upon by an unbalanced force. When we apply first law of motion, this is applicable. But if a body moves at constant velocity, it would not stop moving unless disturbed by another unbalanced force. This tendency of an object to maintain its initial state of motion is called, by Galileo, inertia. The law of motion says that the acceleration depends on how heavy the object is, called mass, and on how hard it is being pushed or pulled, which is the force. This second law of motion can be specified with the formula F is equal to ma, or A is equal to F over m, with F as the force, m as the mass, and A as the acceleration. The greater the force acting on an object, the more it will accelerate. And the heavier an object is, lesser it can be accelerated by a certain force. Next, the third law of motion states that for every action, there is an equal and opposite action. This law applies everywhere. One common example to understand the third law is the effect in a rocket in space. In space, there is nothing for the rocket to push on. The rocket is propelled by the action and reaction between the hot gases pushed out by its motors and the rocket itself. Another example is by looking at how a vehicle moves. Its wheels rotate backwards, which pushes the vehicle itself forward, performing Newton's third law. Now that you know the laws of motion, you will now understand why things go this way and that way. Moreover, since the time these laws of motion were applied to our lives, they changed the way the humans lived, even being able to send men to walk on the moon.